Hello there, Internet. Steve here again with another Unity Asset Store review. Today we are going to be looking at the Legendary Caves and Dungeons by Walt W.W. If you remember, I did a review of this developer's other asset. It's an earlier asset a while back. I don't remember exactly when I did that. But if you just go through my videos, you'll find it there. It's the Caves and what is it called here? It is called the Caves and Dungeons Toolkit. I'm going to be I reference that that asset quite a bit in my review of this asset. Not quite a bit, but enough times where if you haven't watched that one, you may want to go back and watch that one. And in my ratings here, I'm going to talk a little bit about that too. But so at the time of recording this asset retails for $79.99 USD, so essentially $80 USD. This asset only supports URP and HDRP. It does not support built-in. I'm going to be running the demo scenes in HDRP. For my review of this developer's other asset, so that asset, if you remember, if you watch it, or if you do watch it, you'll notice that asset supports all three rendering pipelines, and I was running that on built-in. Let's go into the four grading criteria. Remember, I do pass-fail on my reviews. Something is either good enough or it is not. So on quality, yeah, this thing passes. It's very pretty. The material and texture work is very, very, very nice. It's very good. It's very, very good. So definitely passes there. Modularity and workability. I do dive into this in the prefabs a little bit more, but yes, it passes on modularity and workability. It is, the prefabs that are in there are modular enough, modular enough. They are very modular. There are a couple of things I talk about in there, like the way that the quote unquote combined prefabs are that I don't necessarily like, but I dive into the details on that when we are actually at those parts in the video. But all in all, the modularity and workability is good. It's also performant. I mean, I'm running on an HDRP, and admittedly my GPU's been having a little bit of issues lately. I may have pushed it a little too hard a few times in recent months. So even with all that, it's running very, very well. So yeah, modularity and workability is high. It's intelligently, for the most part, modularized, performant, all that fun stuff. So yeah, definitely passes on modularity and workability. Support and serviceability. So I'm gonna pass it on support and serviceability. The developer does seem to respond to questions whenever they're asked. They seem active. The one thing I will say is the previous asset that I did a review on has multiple versions where the developer added like prefabs and stuff to the asset. I think they're on version 2.0 now or something like that. This asset has not gotten that love yet. Now I say yet because this is a relatively new asset. I don't remember exactly when I bought it, but it wasn't that long ago, and I bought it when it was on the Unity's like whole, new asset discount thing. So it's a relatively new asset. I think if there's any indication, or I think if the previous asset rather is any indication of what the developer is going to do with this one, I do think that's going to change. I think that they probably will push updates to this asset, but that's pure speculation on my part. I have no inside information on that. That's just what I have seen with their other asset, and I think it's reasonable to assume that they will probably do the same thing with this one. So support, pass. Serviceability, I'm going to give it a pass, but if they don't do that, then I'll be a little disappointed. So now we're on to value rather. I struggle with this one. $80 is a lot of money for an asset, for an art asset. Like you're starting to get into you expect a lot more out of the asset area. For me, like $100 is the cap where I'm like, I really have to second guess it. Like if an asset is $100 or more, I'm not going to just splurge randomly and get it. If it's under $100, normally I'll be like, I'll do a review on it at some point at the very least, even if I never use it. $100 is at that point where I'm like, And this is getting up to that point. Now, when we go through the prefabs, you'll see there aren't a lot of prefabs in it, which is disappointing as well, especially when you compare it to the other asset that this developer made. There's more prefabs in there, and I mentioned a few times in the video, or in the actual demo scene and the prefabs breakdown and stuff, where I really should have gone back and looked, blah blah blah. I did, after recording those, go back and look, and there actually is not as much crossover as I thought. This does seem to be its own package, and I'm going to talk about that a little more in just a second. But first I want to say, so this one is more expensive than the other asset. The other asset is sitting at like $65 or something like that, I think, something like that. And you get more prefabs in the other one, but they're different prefabs. And I think that that's important to sort of remember. If you go and look at my previous video, because also there are prefabs in there now that were not in there when I did that video. There's a handful of additional, I counted like 20 extra prefabs or something like that in there now that weren't in there before. So I actually think that the value you get out of that asset is higher than the value out of this asset. Having said that, I think that the quality of this asset warrants the $80 price point if you can swing it. If the developer continues to update it with additional prefabs, then it's 100% a pass. I'm going to pass it for now. I'm going to give it a pass for now. I may have to come back and revisit that. I don't know. But I think that as the asset stands right now, maybe wait for a sale, unless you need something out of it, which, again, I think that the quality of the asset is good, and I think that the value of it based off the quality of it and the other criteria that I have does pass, but it is a little bit of a steeper price for an asset. The other thing to remember, I think, is, and I said I was going to get back to this before, so this is the point I was going to make as well, remembering that they are two different assets and they complement themselves well, provided you're not going to run it in built-in. Because again, this asset does not support built-in, and when I tried to force built-in, it got all kinds of fucked up. So I don't think that this one is going to function in built-in. So as long as you're running it in URP or HDRP, the two almost act as companion packages, right? I think that if you're going to buy one, buy the other. They definitely complement themselves really well, and you can build even cooler, dungeons and caves and stuff like that if you have both of the assets. So with all that in mind, like I said, I'm going to pass it. I'm going to begrudgingly pass it maybe a little bit, because again, the price point is just kind of high, but I do think that the value is there just barely. But again, if they update it and add more stuff to it, then it's absolutely a no-brainer. If you can get it on sale, then it's a no-brainer as well. I mean, it is a good asset. I think it's a little more competitively priced than I would have liked it to be, or not competitively priced. It's a little bit more accessibly priced than I would otherwise normally like it to be, if that makes sense. So there's the 4 criteria. I do recommend this asset in general. I think it's a good asset. Just that price point is a little bit of sticker shock if for like what you're getting out of it. But anyways, like I said, I do think it's worthwhile. I do think it's something that is worth picking up, especially if you need it. Just understand the things that it doesn't have, or understand its drawbacks, and I think it'll be fine. So we're gonna go over to the demo scenes next. There are 3 demo scenes total. They're short. All 3 of them are short demo scenes. I did put my character controller into each one of them. Unlike the last one, I kind of did fly-throughs in some of them. This one, we're running through with the character controller on all 3 of them. So we'll do that, and then I will see everyone over in the first demo scene.
All right, and we are back here in the demo. Well, there's 3 demo scenes. They're all very short, so I'm just going to do quick run-throughs of them. But we are in the one that is titled Ice Cave demo scene. I'm just, like I said, going to do a quick run-through of these, give you the sort of overall ambiance of them, and then we will go into the prefabs after that. So this one is literally just this cavern with a couple of outlets, and then going across here. That's literally the end of this one. But I did just want to, like I said, give you an ambience of this one from the first person perspective. And actually, I'll do this. Maybe I can't. Yeah, well, clearly that works, but the icicles are blocking it. So that's the end of this one. We're going to do the not ice cave. We just did the ice cave. We're going to do the ice temple next, and then there's going to be a fire temple. So I'll see everybody over in the ice temple. All right, and we are back here in the ice temple. This one is a little bit bigger, but really not by much. So I do just want to point out some of these more ambiance things. The huge skull is really cool. Excuse me. The fire looks good too. Got those wonderful god rays coming down. Really beautiful. Like really beautiful texturing and stuff too. Let's hop down here. Boop, boop. Some of this does look similar to the other asset of theirs that I reviewed a while back. I do think this one is an updated version of it, we could say. But you will notice some similarities between the two, I think, if you're really eagle-eyed. I know I did that video a while ago, but yeah. I think that if you're paying attention, you'll probably notice some of those similarities. This texturing work is it's really, really good. It's very, very impressive. I mean, I did run the other demo on built-in, and I am running this one on HDRP, but still. Texture and work on this is just really, really impressive. Cool sarcophagus. Golden skulls on there. It just looks cool. Alright, so that's the end of the ice temple. We are going to go over to the fire temple for the last one, and I'll see everyone over there in a moment. And we are back here in the fire temple. So, like I said, all 3 of these are very short demo scenes. I'm not going to spend too much time in these, but I did just want to point all 3 of them out just to show the level of fidelity that you can get with them. So it's going to run in here. You'll notice that a lot of this stuff is very similar to the other, or it's very similar to the other demo scene, the ice temple. It's because they do a good job of creating smartly designed prefabs that can really be used in a variety of different aesthetics. So the other one was an ice temple, it's a fire temple. Like, these prefabs just work in both of them. So I do think that it was very smart from a modularization standpoint for that. Again, this like texture detailing and material detailing is just really, really nice. Actually, I'll run over here. So these so to that point, they also did the same thing with the other asset of theirs that I reviewed, the previous cave asset, where it was very smart reusing an implementation of a lot of the prefabs that they had, and I do think that they pulled that off again. So yeah, there's a lot of capacity here for creating multiple different types of levels and themes of levels and stuff like that. So I do think that they did it, that this developer, I'm very curious to see if they do anything else, because as of right now they only have the 2 assets, but I am curious because a lot of the reusability has been the same in both of their assets. So with that, I will end this demo scene and I will see everybody over in the prefabs. All right, and we are back with the prefabs. So this is the master level or the highest level prefabs folder. It's working on 4 subfolders. As you can see, we're going to go through them one by one. So let's go through stones first. As you can see, there's some subfolders inside of these. So I should actually point this out. So they have they have some lava and some snow ones, but then they've got the universal ones as well. So let's just go through these one by one. There's going to be a lot of these sort of multi-purpose rocks and prefabs and stuff. And just like with the last one, these scale well. The texturing on them scales well, so you can make them as big or small as you need to really build out some cool level stuff. Which I do really, really like to see personally. It gives you the ability to really do some cool stuff, in my opinion. So a bunch of different, floor and ceiling surfaces. You could use these for walls though too if you wanted to. Oh, what just happened? So a lot of these, as they call them, flats. So you got some single-sided ones there. Yeah, so these are specifically for flooring pieces. Which I don't believe they had dedicated single-face floor pieces in the last asset. Could be wrong about that. I'll have to go back and check, but I don't actually think that was a thing, if memory serves. Just trying to get into some, clutter pieces. Those are all single-sided, or single-faced rather. Which I believe the clutter in the other, or the, like rock and pebble clutter and stuff in the other asset was also single-faced. Probably should have gone back and watched that video before I did this one, just as a refresher for myself, but whatever, I didn't do that. Oops. Got some pillars and stuff like that you can use, which is nice to see. Oop. So slim pillars. Sort of like unique geometric shapes that you can use, which again, when you're looking for like, that sort of thing, or variety in how you're building your levels, you want to see those sorts of pieces as much as humanly possible. That's a cool pillar. Some ingress there. Yeah, that one's actually really cool. So you get into the stalactite and stalagmites. guess, you know, you can use them for both realistically. Singular ones. So obviously they've got like batched out pre-clusters that if you just want to rapidly build, you have that option. So now you're looking at double face walls, but that are quite thin. So really just for wall purposes. I also don't think these were a thing in the other one either, if memory serves. I think all of the walls were. I could be remembering this wrong. You can go back and watch that review if you would like. But I think that like this, I don't think these sorts of things were a thing. I think to make walls, you had to combine the pieces like these up here. So having those options, I think, help quite a bit. I do like to see that sort of thing in, you know, level assets, level art assets. Yeah, lots of options for these walls, which again is really nice. Oh no, what happened? So you've got sort of chimneys and tunnels. This also had to be done with what's it called? The individual larger pieces in the other one. So I'm happy to see this sort of thing as well. So these are more the ones you're going to use at like the tops of rooms, or you could use them at the bottoms, I guess, too, if you want to create like wider main walls. So that's all of the standards for the stones. Let's go into the snow section. So these are obviously just like ice variants. A lot of these ones are the same as those first ones, so I think I'm just gonna skip through like this so you can see each one of them. Now we're getting into the walls. That one doesn't have the ice shine to it. Interesting. Yeah, some of these are actually different. So this one is not. Oh, let's go with these guys. Oh, that's a cool one too. Yeah, I don't typically look at the prefabs before I do these videos, so unless there's something that I have to address in the package, I'm kind of going through all of these individually with you guys in real time. Yeah, these are all the same ones. So let's go to the lava ones. This is going to be more blackened because, you know, lava is dark black. If you've ever seen like actual lava rocks, they are quite dark. Usually they're very porous as well. Alright, so let's go to the ice. We've got standard ice. Yeah, some of these rocks are identically the same, so I'm going to skip through these guys, I think. Yeah, one of these walls is in the other one. I don't know why that was there. It's interesting. These are all the same. There's variants. Oops. So yeah, these are all just ice variants. I don't know why this is in. Seems weird that they have the two different folders, but whatever. Like the two different folders that are essentially the same thing. But again, whatever. I don't know why those are duplicated. That may have been a me mistake. Yeah, that may have been a me accident. These are all the same geometric shapes as the other one. They're just ice materials. So I'm just going to run through those ones real quick. So let's see what we got over here in the snow section. These look very similar. Alright, effects. You've got the fire. I'm not going to dive into this too much. We all know how those work. So now let's look at the dungeon prefabs. Oop, there we go. So single face, obviously, trying to do performant stuff. These are ceiling pieces. That is a ceiling piece. These ones are going to be floor pieces, also single faced. Some actual like stone working pieces, some stone edge keystones it's called. We've got that mesh that was in that lava level with the lava flowing behind it, behind the huge ass throne. So single faced again, which I like to see. So you got pillars. You got some pillar caps here. A few different options for that, which I also like to see. Another pillar. So curved pillars, which is nice to see. That gives you some more options for stuff, for more creative level design. So you got the pillar bases. So you've got this one these should be merged. It says it's merged, so I'm guessing it's going to be So it's going to be the actual sections, or not. That's interesting. So I guess that they just merged them together into one mesh for you. I don't know how I feel about that. That makes pooling objects a little bit more of a pain in the ass. But whatever. It's okay. I'm guessing this is the same thing. Yeah, those are just LODs in there. So I'm guessing this is the same thing. Yeah, it's just the LODs. Again, I'm not sure how I feel about that personally. For when they have merged prefabs, I would personally really like to see the use of the previous prefabs, if I'm being honest, because again, just from a object pooling standpoint, an optimization standpoint, it just adds one more object to the pool, right? So it's slightly less performant at that point. I don't know if I like that as much as if they were to do it the other way, but that's okay. Again, running this in HDRP, and you saw it was still a pretty performant. The demo scenes are still pretty performant, so I'm not going to nitpick that too much. If it were just shit performance-wise, we'd be having a different conversation. But it honestly wasn't, so I'm not going to lose sleep over that. They did modularize the railings out here intelligently, so you've got the railing end caps here, but then if you want to make longer railings, they left that side open, so you can just add them together. That's a smart implementation of those sorts of assets to make it easy to build, but also make it performant in that regard. So let's get some stairs. You got your floor trims. There's a few of these, which is nice, just for again, variety. So we got that going. Let's see what else we got here. So single face walls, again, good. More floors, all single faced. Which again, I like to see that. Single faced archways, nice to see. Archway caps, essentially. So those are for fillers for curved ceilings. Again, also intelligently built out. So you've got more fillers. These are for the stairs. So if you were going to slap where's the stairs here? If you're going to slap the stairs down, you would stick these on the sides of them to make it so players couldn't see that or go underneath it, just to fill out that geometry. Then you've got your braziers, however you say that, fire holders essentially. Here's that chest that was in the ice temple, I believe. Here's that skull that was over the top on the what's it called, on the both of the temple levels. And then you've got your throne here with the little guy on top of the throne. So he was like, this was pushed into the wall, so you couldn't see all of it. You could only see like his head and arms coming out. But so that's all of the prefabs in this little guy, which is just a useless box. So that's all of the prefabs in the asset. So if you have this one, let me know what you think in the comments. I think that it's good performance-wise. It's good, quality-wise. But yeah, just let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see everybody in the next one.